Anybody out there? Hello, hello. Make sure I got this out. Okay, hello. All right. So it's a beautiful day to blaze some good. A beautiful day to blaze some good. Would you be kind? Please light mine. Because I had to fucking fuck up and had to do it over again. The fuck out of here. Hello. I don't know why I'm doing that. Still. All right, turning shit down. All right, well, welcome. Wake and bake, or just fucking getting baked, because baked I am. It's 4:46 in the a.m., so definitely somebody's waking and baking right now. Been doing a little bit of internet work tonight, so editing and shit like that. So that's why the little podcast is a little bit later. But oh well, it's whatever. I'm always getting fried anyway, so I could literally do this at any point in the day. Anyway, so today being supposed to be Thursday's podcast, the discussion is about the dystopian, movies that are, or basically movies are dystopian in nature that sort of apply to the framework of today's time. So, interestingly enough, I was watching another podcast, and they had a someone who was an escort, but she wasn't a willing escort. She was trafficked, and she talks about it, but she wasn't talking about it from the perspective of her pain. At least in this instance, I'm quite sure. You know, there's some point. I think she has a vlog or something like that. I'm not gonna mention the names and things like that because it's immaterial to my point, but I'm only bringing it up because it does set up what I'm talking about. But anyway, she this woman, she talks about how she noticed what is about the men that brought him to you know really want to hook up with a hooker, basically. What brought him to that. What kind of pain did they have? And she was basically, in her own pain, was recognizing, these other men's pain. You know what I'm saying? And not all of it was, there was some nefarious things going on, but and one thing she stipulated, the, you know, 9 times out of 10, or 99.9 times out of 10, you know, the guys that would come to see her didn't know that she was forced into this lifestyle. And I guess that's important because then that makes it easier for her to have compassion for these people, that she sees, as in a lot of the times where women in that position don't have any respect for the person that comes to see them because you're coming to pay me. I don't know. It's just sort of weird, but how that fits in with the premise with the movies, because as this lady was talking, she would refer to her circumstances or things that she would find out, and she would refer to movies that would that would basically just sort of similar like how I'm doing. It would sort of give you a visual of her of what she was talking about. So she listed 4 movies, and the reason why these movies actually fit the premise is not okay because she's coming from the angle of being someone that had going through this tremendous pain, and had to deal with people from a totally different aspect than me. But so because one of the movies from previous episodes, one of the movies that I was talking about was Brave New World. And with Brave New World, there was showing it was a lot of about sort of the breakdown of relationships with people and how relationships with people have changed and sort of are people aren't so much more coming together as couples as more of just hookup culture. And it's almost seen in this movie I'm talking about. It's almost seen as um, outdated and like it's like ugh, you want to be with just one person, like ugh, ugh. I don't think they give the That's it'd be a dumbass, but either way, you get what I'm saying. So she gave four movies. These movies still sort of fall in line because of reasons why. So I took notes. So the first one that she mentioned was, one of the things that she mentioned was a lot of these guys that she would see, you know, it wasn't so much about the act; it was so much about feeling a connection to something. Whereas in their day they feel invisible, and just for a brief moment they if they pay, it's not real and they know it's not real, but it's just that brief moment you get to feel connected to something. So the movie that she was talking about is Her, and it's also fits the premise because now Her is about an AI, and I think it stars Joaquin Phoenix. So the whole idea behind this is you have this AI girlfriend that I mean basically it's not from what I say, because this is one I didn't see, but from what she's saying, and this is going to definitely be on the list to view. Um, so I get a better understanding, but from the premise of what she was saying, that even though they understand that this is not real, it's like you get to feel connected to something. And that's why people love their animals so much. They replace real connection to people with animals, or in the case of Her, with AI. Now, the next one is a little bit different. I actually have, not myself, but have seen sort of the behavior in this next movie. Um, I think it's not so much more of um, a dystopic type of a premise for this movie, more in line with the mentality. So the movie is basically Shame, um, and it's basically the protagonist is addicted to sex, and it's like I've seen it. What I'm saying. I've also known that feeling of being addicted to something, and wanting to fill a hole, and you just, no matter what you how much partake is the best way to say, you never fill that hole. Kind of makes me just briefly just thinking about it. There was that movie way back with Keanu Reeves called Constantine, and there was a scene where one of the guys in the movie was a priest. He wanted to get something to drink, but one of the demons put like a hex on him or some kind of spell, and every time he would drink something, it would not no liquid would go in his mouth. So he's just trying to pour shit in his mouth, and it would just, however, and he's just sitting there just dying of thirst, trying to drink anything he could get, and he couldn't get nothing down, and the demon's sitting there watching him, just basically going nuts. So that's just sort of that ideology or the feeling of, at least from mine wasn't sex, even though sex was involved, but it was yeah, it was definitely something. Um, Now you have the next movie. Checking the notes. Is one. I mentioned the original in the previous pod. Um, to the list, so it's gonna we're definitely gonna watch both. These both are gonna be on the list. So we have Blade Runner 2049, and again we're dealing with AI, and one of the ideas or the idea that the I was referencing that she puts forward again is that this AI, is created that now you can, you know, you have something that just won't let you down, won't disappoint you. Is just sort of like a slave, obedient. At least that's what I got. I'm gonna check for sure in the movie, but and I know that's what a lot of women think that we want, but not really. You just don't really want to argue all the time. That's it. I mean, why would you want somebody to be a slave? I can go off on that ramp, but I just, you know what I'm saying? I like, I can't imagine somebody doing shit for me. I've been doing stuff for myself all my life, so you know, to have somebody wash my clothes or have somebody, on a daily basis, it's just weird to me, my dad, he's a little worse for wear. Time is getting tight, but through insurance, he gets a cleaning lady to come and help him. Because cancer, two of them. So definitely. But even then, she'll do like she'll. It's only so much she can clean up his stuff. So she'll end up doing stuff around the house. So it's basically like a cleaning lady, a maid kind of. I'm so uncomfortable with that. I don't like her because she'll do my dad's clothes, but I don't want her touching my shit. I do my own shit. Now dishes, I'm good with that. You could do dishes. I do dishes all the time, but I fucking hate doing dishes since I was a little kid. But I do them. You do what you gotta do. But anyway, back to the movie. Blade Runner 2049. So that's going to be in the list. So now the next one is one that I've seen like around, but I've never actually got to watch it. I know something about it just never. The name was kind of right, so kind of cool, but it just never. I don't know. It just and that one is Ex Machina or Machina. And one of the things that the lady that we're referencing referred to in this movie was that they created AI women as something they can have and own as possessions. Again, it goes back to basically what I was saying about slaves. And how she references that as far as with her life, because so each one of these different movies represents a different type of person, a different type of man that she dealt with. So her dealt with a lonely guy. Shane dealt with a guy who was just addicted to sex. Then Blade Runner has one that's, maybe had been disappointed in the past by actual woman, and actual women or women, singular and plural, or, either way. And it would frequent her because it's just, get over with. Saying each one goes to this woman, frequents this woman or whatever, or these services, in order to fulfill this, you know, basically to get the evil out. That's the best way we put it. I could put it without being too crass, which I'm not really. Anyway, so Now with the last one, it's a little more of a, I can't think of the word right now. I guess nefarious, but I don't know if that's even the right word to use in that. But either way, to have these AI robot women as some kind of a trophy or conquest or something to own, or I that there are people that always go on the hunt, knock down as many as it can, basically for sport. It also goes back to also the shame portion, or the shame movie, where you have to think about somebody may be addicted to sex, or in this case addicted to the collecting. Thinking back to that Avengers movie, they had that one guy. He was a collector, and had all kinds of exotic animals and exotic, you know, relics and shit like that. And he was a dick. He basically was a dick. So somebody who displays that type of mentality, you know, or that's their desire. That type of person, is always, usually it doesn't seem like it would be like a nice person. I can't see somebody who would collect, trophies as being a nice person. You know, even you think about somebody who, like, say, even somebody who's collecting trophies in sports. You think about, depending on what type of trophies. Now, if it's team trophies, that's a one thing. But now, if you're thinking individual trophies, for a person who that is that on that kind of on that chase, has to be singularly focused and fuck everybody else. So, you have somebody who may be self-centered. So, like, I'm some kind of psychologist or something, psychologically thinking. I don't know. It's just my observations. But so these are the movies for this week. They'll talk about Her, Shane, Blade, and Ex Machina or Machina. Those are the movies going to be added to the list. I think I'm gonna pull it this weekend and start the movie marathon on Discord, because I really want to get into some of these movies again. Like, I haven't watched some of these movies in a while. Um, Not really looking forward to watching 1984 again, but I will. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I mean, just thinking about that, the lady that I'm referencing, being herself in such a terrible, and this is, now that she's reflecting, she's older, so she's definitely more of a mature mindset. But she was talking about this from, this happened to her when she was 19, I believe. So what's in it? What is it in her? I'm saying that through her pain, she recognizes that, for somebody to go see her, there's it can't necessarily always be, that the person's just a degenerate. There has, you know, because it really is an extreme act on both ends of the spectrum, whether you're the perpetrator forcing the lady, or you're the one that goes to see the lady. It's extreme, because just because you pay someone doesn't necessarily mean they're willing. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say it's an extreme act. So to be so young and to recognize that, you know, for a person, especially, you know, when you see you get okay, you got like with the movie Her, you got lonely guys. You know, now with the movie Shame, you know, you have it could be loneliness could be driving the addiction, or you know, or seeking something to fill that hole because you were lonely. Yeah, it's basically what I'm saying. It's basically what I'm saying. Yeah, you know. And then you have okay, so you have the guys that are lonely, the guys that are addicted, you know, the guys that are married. You know, she mentioned that too, and she was pretty much mortified at the thought that she was, you know, destroying, you know, another woman's life, you know, destroying a marriage, a family. You know, even at a young age, she recognized that. So it just really, it's crappy. You know that, you know, we put each other through this shit, and it's just a bunch of shit. It's a bunch of shit. How you take somebody and just be like, yo, you're gonna do this, you know, and you gotta do this. That's just shit. I mean, I understand it if she was like, yo, I'm broke, you know what I'm saying, work jobs over here, or maybe I got a child, or fuck it, I'm, I'm a drug addict, you know, or whatever, and then hop on it, you know what I'm saying. More power to you, but if somebody's making you do it, so that's not even not even part of the premise. That's me going off on a rant. It's shit though. But at least as far as those movies goes, those sort of cover, you know, it does paint a picture, and then at least in these with these movies, you know, we're talking about the aspect of how AI deals with relationships, and you know, it can be used as a crutch, or as a way to try to cover some holes, which, you know, strange to me because I'm never gonna go AI robot or nothing like that. I'm not gonna have like an AI girlfriend. No, I don't have an actual girlfriend, so I'm trying going through AI and all that bullshit. Let me just work on getting an actual girlfriend. That's much better. That's crazy. Anyway, the day is long, sun is hot. Might as well smoke if you got some pot. I'm out.